KTBB Friday Morning News Time, 7:51, as we do every Friday. At this time, we check in with KTBB owner, general manager, Paul Gleiser. And you tell me, Texas, what's on your mind, sir?
Well, what's on my mind is I'd love to hear Badfinger keep playing, but we have an editorial to do.
Got some Slim Whitman in here, though.
We're sponsored by K.E. Cellars, Tyler's Old World-style boutique winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall. An update on the KTBB World Tour excursion to London and the English countryside that leaves November 19th. We're down to room for just 8 couples. As you may have heard me say, I took a special advance preview of this trip last month in order to make sure that every detail is in place. That mission is accomplished. This is a fabulous trip. Salisbury Cathedral, Stonehenge, Bath, the unexpected gem that was the town of Chester for me, Liverpool, Stratford-upon-Avon, and then, of course, the majesty and grandeur of London. The price is an amazing $22.99 per person, double occupancy, and that price covers very nearly everything, which is why we're getting so close to being sold out. Details, photos that I took last month, and booking information at ktbb.com/World Tour. In an article at National Review Online earlier this week, Jonah Goldberg reminds us of the speech that President Obama gave in Warren, Michigan on July 14, 2009, in which he said, and I quote, "Now my administration has a job to do as well, and that job is to get this economy back on its feet. That's my job, and it's a job I gladly accept. I love these folks who helped get us in this mess, and then suddenly say, well, this is Obama's economy. That's fine. Give it to me." End quote. Well, no problem, Mr. President. It's yours. All of it. The $1 trillion stimulus that added to the already staggering debt but didn't keep unemployment below 8%, as you promised. The $2.8 trillion the country has borrowed since you gave that speech. The 2.8 million jobs that vanished since you took the oath. The rising cost of gasoline, fueled in large measure by your intractability on domestic oil drilling. The private sector paralysis brought about by the uncertainties attendant to Obamacare, tax rates, and financial regulation. Since you're taking ownership of the economy, Mr. President, we'll also make sure that you're credited with the dismal 1.8% GDP growth in the second quarter and the new low for the dollar against the euro that was attained earlier this week. Oh, and let's not forget to give you credit for the recent statements of Moody's, the bond rating agency, which announced that the country's AAA bond rating is in serious danger of being downgraded. Well, that should cover it, Mr. President. Oh, no, wait. We left out food prices. We mustn't fail to give you credit for the amazing increase in food prices over the last year. Maybe it has something to do with those rising energy prices and that falling dollar. Oh, and how could we forget home prices? We learned earlier this month that home prices in most major metros have double dipped. That is to say, after rising from their lows of 2008, they have sunk back below those terrible depths to establish all new lows here in 2011. Just yesterday, we learned that the equity in the average American home stands at just 38%, down from 61% a decade ago. Yes, sir, if you want us to give you the economy, Mr. President, we'll be happy to oblige. It is all yours. But you point out, the President of the United States doesn't actually run the American economy. Well, that's what we thought. But in January 2009, you moved in on Pennsylvania Avenue, saw the mess that you were quite correct in saying that you inherited, and began telling us that you were the guy to fix it. You got the Congress to give you stimulus money and auto company bailout money and programs to help homeowners keep from losing their homes and money for extended unemployment benefits and, of course, the sweeping overhaul of the 1/6 of the American economy that is health care. It looks for all the world to us, Mr. President, that you meant it when you said of the economy in that speech in Michigan, "Give it to me." So here you go, sir. It's all yours. There's just one thing, though, Mr. President. It's yours to keep. You can't give it back to George W. Bush. It's yours today, and it will be yours in November 2012. It's looking more and more like you might not be so keen to own it then, Mr. President. But own it, you will. That's my word. What's yours? Go to youtellmetexas.com, and you tell me. People who hear me do these commercials will sometimes say, well, Paul, you're a wine expert, and I am no such thing. Or if I am, then so are you. My so-called expertise is no more complicated than I know what I like. If I can be a wine expert on that basis, then anyone can. So I'm going to help you become a wine expert yourself. Go to K.E. Cellars and tell them I sent you in for a wine expert tasting flight. If your taste runs to the light and sweet, they'll pour you a tasting sample of each of the Keepersol Texas Vit, the Keepersol Viognier, and the K.E. Cellars White Zinfandel, 2 whites and a blush. If you run to the Bold and Intense, they'll pour you the Keepersol Bridge, becoming one of my favorites. The Keepersol Merlot, and my prior favorite, or current favorite, or sometimes favorite, the Keepersol 2007 Cabernet. 3 great reds. You're going to like one of these wines, and when you do, you too will be a wine expert. This is all possible because K.E. Cellars is a working winery with a tasting bar. Try any wine in the collection before you buy it. You cannot make a mistake. K.E. Cellars, Tyler's Old World Style Boutique Winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall, and online at KECellars.com.